Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. अथ योगानुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे अवस्थानम् वृत्तिसारूप्यमितरत्र वृत्तयः पञ्चतयः क्लिष्टा अक्लिष्टाः प्रमाणविपर्यय विकल्पनिद्रास्मृतयः प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान आगमाः प्रमाणानि विपर्यय मिथ्याज्ञानम् अतद्रूपप्रतिष्ठम् शब्दज्ञानानुपाती वस्तुशून्यो विकल्पः अभाव प्रत्ययालम्बा अनुभूतविषय असम्प्रमोष स्मृतिः अभ्यासवैराग्याभ्याम् तन्निरोधः तत्र स्थितौ यत्नोऽभ्यासः स तु दीर्घकालनैरन्तर्य सत्कारा सेवितो दृढभूमिः दृष्टानुश्रविक विषयवितृष्णस्य वशिकारसंज्ञा वैराग्यम् तत्परम् पुरुषख्यातिर्गुणवैतृष्ण्यम् वितर्क विचारानन्दस्मितानुगमात् सम्प्रज्ञातः विराम प्रत्ययाभ्यासपूर्व संस्कारशेषोऽन्यः भवप्रत्ययो विदेह प्रकृतिलयानाम् श्रद्धा वीर्यस्मृति समाधि प्रज्ञा पूर्वक इतरेषाम् तीव्रसंवेगानामासन्नः मृदुमध्यादिमात्रत्वात् ततोऽपि विशेषः ईश्वरप्रणिधानाद्वा कर्म विपाकाशयैः अपरामृष्टपुरुषविशेषैश्वरः तत्र निरतिशयम् सर्वज्ञत्वबीजम् स पूर्वेषाम् अपि गुरुकालेन अनवच्छेदान् तस्य वाचकप्रणवः तज्जपस्तदर्थभावनम् ततः प्रत्यक्चेतनाधिगमोऽप्यन्तरायाभावश्च व्याधिस्त्यान संशय प्रमाद आलस्य अविरति दर्शन अलब्ध भूमिकत्व अनवस्थितत्वानि चित्तविक्षेपाः ते अंतरायाः. Patanjali Yoga Sutra defines yoga as chitta vritti nirodha, and thereafter the chitta vrittis are defined, and then their nirodha is to be attained. Therefore, the means are abhyasa vairagya, and by that one is able to attain samprajñāt and asamprajñāt samadhi. Then the question came, is it only by abhyasa only, or there is another way? So it was told also by the Ishvara Pranidhanat. After that was done, then who is the Ishvara? This question came. So Ishvara was defined, and what is the indicator, pratika, symbol, name, abhidhana of Ishvara, Pranava, that was told. And how do we do the dhyana on the Pranava? So tajjapas tadartha bhavanam. Up to here, having said, then the question comes, when you do this Onkara Upasana, what happens? Tataha pratyak chetana adhigamaha api antaraya bhavascha. Then, as a result of this Jivatma is able to recognize his essential self, and all the obstacles, vignas, which come on his way to realize the truth are removed. Naturally, the question comes, which are those obstacles? So up to here we have seen. Now in the 11th lecture of ours and 30th Sutra of this Samadhi path, we begin. Athake antarayaha te chittasya vikshepaha. So which are those vignas, obstacles, and because of which they are able to create disturbances in the mind, and how many are they? Please tell us. As if this question is raised. Now in reply to that it is said, Vyadi sthana samshaya pramada alasya avirati bhranti darshana alabdha bhumikatva anavastitatvani chitta vikshepaha te antarayaha. So these are the chitta vikshepas and they are called as antaraya, the obstacles. So these are totally 9 in number. Navantarayas chittasya vikshepaha. So these are 9 in number. If you count them, it appears there are 10. See? Vyadhi, sthana, samshaya, pramada, alasya, avirati, bhranti, darshana, alabdha bhumikatva, anavastitatva. These are the 9 of them. So that Bhranti and Darshana should not be taken separately, it's only one Bhranti Darshana. So these are the 9 of them. Saha ete chitta vrittibihi bhavanti. Now all these vikshepas, they are ete chitta vrittibihi. Vikshepa means disturbance. The disturbance cannot exist without the vritti, without the thought. So, the thoughts themselves are the disturbances. And therefore, ye vikshepa chitta vritti bhi saha bhavanti, and etesham abhave purvoktaha chitta vritteyaha na bhavanti. So, without this vikshepa, the earlier vrittis, pramana, anumana, etc., they are not possible. Now, among these 9 of them, the 2 of them, samshaya and bhranti darshana, these are definitely viparya vrittis. There is no doubt about it. What about the 7 of them, the remaining vyadhi, etc.? So here it is said, because of the vyadhi and others, one is able to experience the various vrittis, because if there is a vyadhi, some disease, naturally it is recognized, and therefore all these 7 of them also create the vrittis or the thoughts, and therefore they are also called as ataha vritti udayakari. They are the creators of the vrittis, therefore they are also called as vrittis, and these are the obstacles. Now, what are those? They are enumerated and explained in detail. First is tatra, among these 9, Dhatu rasa karana vaishamyam is called as vyadhi. According to Yoga Shastra, vyadhi, the diseases of the body, are on account of disbalance between these 3 dhatus called as kapha vata pitta. So, dhatu rasa, kapha vata pitta, and rasa, whatever we are eating. Sometimes we eat something and our stomach is upset. Sometimes we eat something, there is allergy. Sometimes we eat something, there is drowsiness, poisoning. So these are the reasons why the vyadhi comes. And the third, karana vaishamyam. Karana are the 11 indriyas, ekadashendriyani. So because of this, vaishamyam, the normal condition is disturbed. So because of this, the body suffers, and that is called as the vyadhi or the disease. Then second is styanam. Styanam means what? Akarmanyata chittasya. One is not able to or doesn't want to get involved into anything. It becomes so dull-wittedness. Akarmanyata chittasya. And ubhaya koti spruk Jnanam, Vijnanam is Samshayaha. Ubhaya Kotispruk means what? It could be this way or it could be that way. This kind of knowledge, where there is no confirmed decision, is called as the Samshaya. So Syad iti, Syad idam eva, naiva Syad idam iti, in this manner. And then Samadhi sadhananam abhavanam pramadaha. Pramada is what? One doesn't feel like being regular in our practice of meditation, study of scriptures, etc., etc. That is because of pramada. Pramada means what is ought to be done is not done, and what is not to be done is done, is called as pramada. Then kayasya sharira, kayasya chittasya gurutvat apravrtti alasyam. What is alasya? Laziness. When our body and the mind becomes too heavy for something or the other, as a result, we don't feel like getting involved in anything. Now, this word alasa is very beautifully understood if you see the other way around. The original word is rasa. Rasa means you have full cheer and joy and happiness. And if it is absent, it is called as arasa. And in Sanskrit, there is one sutra which tells Ralayoho abhedaha. Ra and the la are used alternatively. So, arasaha is alasaha. And when you have got alasya, you don't take ras in anything in life. And we become so dull-witted, no more inspired, and depressed, dejected. Such a person cannot do the yoga abhyas. So, samadhi sadhananam abhavanam pramadaha kayasya chittasya gurutvad apravrutti alasyam. And chittasya vishaya samprayogatma Gandha avirati. Avirati means what? When we are extremely interested in the worldly objects. Gandha, this word, is formed from a root from which the grudha, ma grudham kasyasid dhvanam. So grudha means the vulture. How is the vulture? It goes high up in the sky, and from there it is looking upon only the dead bodies. So much attracted towards the lower lifestyle. In the same manner, when a person is too much interested in the worldly indulgences, he cannot practice yoga abhyas. Bhranti darshanam viparyaya jnanam. So, Bhranti Darshanam means the contrary knowledge. What is there is not seen, what is not there, that is seen. Viparaya Jnanam. And alabdha bhumikatvam samadhi bhumehe alabhaha na labdhva bhumikatena tachittam alabdha bhumikam tasya bhavaha alabdha bhumikatvam. When we are practicing and we are not able to attain the samadhi, that condition where your all efforts have failed, and that time whatever bhava comes in our mind, I don't think it is possible. Like Arjuna said, that etasyaham nigraham manne vayoriva sudushkaram. Hey Bhagavan, what you told to control the mind, I don't think it is ever possible. So this condition is called as alabdha bhumikatvam. And the last one is labdhaya bhumikaya bhumo chittasya apratishta. Many times it happens, sometime our mind is able to be really still. Chitta prasadanam. And you really have the direct glimpses of the experience of this asampradnyat samadhi. If you remember, I told you in Tripura Rahasya, one of the very, very deep book on yoga abhyas, there is one topic where the Guru tells the disciple, There the guru is the wife and the disciple is the husband. So she tells her disciple husband, look here my dear, every one of us goes through the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Asampradnyat Samadhi Yoga, Nirbija Samadhi. Every one of us goes. Every day. But we do not recognize this is that. So, analabdha bhumikatva, you don't get it. And second is, labdhaya bhumo chittasya pratishta. Sometimes you are able to get that asampradnyat samadhi and then you want to repeat it and it never happens thereafter. So, this is called as labdhaya bhumo chittasya pratishtha. It is called anavasthitatvam. So, anavasthitatvam is the vigna, the obstacle. So, samadhi pratilabhe hi sati tad avasthitam syat. And therefore, whichever way we are able to fix our samadhi, we should try to do that. And in this manner, ete chitta vikshepa, these are the 9 obstacles or the disturbance vikshepa in the mind or the chitta, because of which we are not able to practice the yoga abhyas. So, these are also called yoga mala, yoga pratipakshaha, yoga antaraya ityavidhiyate. They are also called yoga mala, yoga pratipaksha. Pratipaksha means the enemies or the looters, and yoga antarayaha, vignani. This is how vignaha, not vignani. In this manner, these are the 9 of them. If you remember, we have studied in Vedanta Sar, there also we have come across the obstacles of the samadhi. And they are, one of them is this kashaya. The old things again and again come up, we are not able to drop the past. Something is rasaswadan. We are so much enchanted by the relative quietness that we do not want to drop the apara vairagya and enter the para vairagya. That is the rasaswada. So this way, here also similar type of obstacles are indicated. Now, there are some more of them which are their friends. You know, the looters, the disturbing people, they are never coming alone to us. They come with the whole paraphernalia. Who are those? 31st Sutra, Dukkha Daurmanasya Angame Jayatva Shvasa Prashvasa Vikshepa Sahabhuvaha. So these are the 5 of them who are the Vikshepa Sahabhuvaha. They are born along with the Vikshepa. So when these 9 disturbances come, because of the 9 disturbances, the mind is totally disarrayed, and as a result of these 5 failures also come and join. Which are those 5? The first is dukkha, second is daurbanasya, third is anga kampanam, fourth is shvasa, and fifth is prashvasa. Now one by one we'll see. Dukkham, so this dukkha is also of 3 types we know now. Adhyatmik, Sharira Vyadhi Vashat, Manasam Kamadi Vashat. This is the Adhyatmaka Dukkha. Then Adi Bhautikam is Vyagradi Pranijat Janita Pida. Because of the people or the wild animals, things around, we get disturbance, Dukkha. And Adi Daivikam Cha is Grahadi Janita Pida. When the Mangal has entered your Lagna along with the Rahu and the Shani, they make a khichadi of your life. This is called as the Adi Daivika Dukkha. So these are the 3 of them. Now, Yena Abhihata Praninaha, those who are influenced by these 3 types of dukkha, tad upaghataya prayatante, tasya upaghataha iti tad upaghata tasmai tad dukkham. And then one struggles to remove this misery. And the more we struggle to remove the misery, we become more miserable. And this is how the miseries go on increasing in our life. You can just observe this. Suppose you are not well, and somebody comes and tells you, oh, you are not well, we are feeling so bad and all that, can I do something for you? So your misery, dukkha is not reduced, it increases. Then the second person comes, same thing, Arey, you are not well, I heard about it. He goes. Then this fellow starts feeling I am really miserable. And with the addition of every additional visitor, earlier you had nothing special. By the end of the day, you have a feeling that you have just come out of 73 heart attacks. That kind of dukkha becomes. This is how the more we try to justify and contemplate on the misery, the more miserable we become. That is why one of the most important method, when you visit somebody who is having some disease or some bereavement, etc., don't take out that topic. Talk something else and take his mind away from his misery. So, this is tasya upahataha iti tasmai tad dukkham. Then dukkha daurmanasya. The daurmanasya means what? Daurmanasya Ichha vighatas chetasaha kshobaha. When many times, we want something to happen, but it doesn't happen. And you have no control over that. You are helpless. Daurmanasya, when it happens, like, and it happens only to those people who are weak-minded. This happens between the two people. For example, the father and the daughter, or husband and the wife, or relations or friends. Now the father is expecting that my son or my daughter will get married to a person chosen by me, because they don't have any choice of their own. They are just, the furnitures. So bring one chair here, one chair there, and then sit on that. But this doesn't happen. That time the father is so helpless. I don't know what karma I have done in the last life. No, this is the product of this life karma, not last life. And then daurmanasya, we lose interest in life because our desires remain unfulfilled. Such people can never practice yoga abhyas. Therefore, this is another important point. And how to conquer this point? By one sutra. Sutra is what? We have no adhikar, no authority on anybody in the whole universe. See what a beautiful life becomes. Now, for example, I am staying with you. And if I have even an iota of thought in my mind that the student should do this thing, so that will be the seed of my subsequent miseries. Very simple. And when you have zero level expectation from the world, your mind will remain always cheerful. Therefore, daurmanasya. And therefore, we are responsible for our mood off. Why the mood is off? I told them, but they don't do that. Then why you become miserable? Let them become miserable. Therefore, this daurmanasya is born along with those antarayaha vikshepaha. Then, daurmanasya, then yad angani jayati kampayati tad angam angame jayatvam. So that because of which when you are frustrated, angry, not able to complete, and you feel that you are deceived, you feel that you are fooled by the people, and you are helpless, that time anga, your body start shivering and you lose confidence. Exactly this is what has happened in the first chapter of Gita, when Arjuna says, that Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushati vipatushcha sharire me roma harashascha jayate. So me sharire vipatuhu, my whole body is trembling. This is what is that. Because he had a lot of hopes, a lot of imagination. And because of that, he came on the battlefield and everything shattered. So, angame jayatvam. And then, that time what happens? Pranaha yad bahyam vayum achamati sashvasaha. And this breathing, that also becomes extremely influenced. So, prano yad bahyam vayum achameti sashvasaha yad koshtam vayu nissarayati sa prashvasaha. So that because of which we take the air inside is called as shvasa and we throw out, breathe out is called as prashvasa. So ete vikshepasa bhuvaha. So then our breathing increases when we are frustrated, angry, dejected and disturbed because of those 9 obstacles which are told in our last sutra. The vyadi sthana samchaya pramada alasya avirati bhranti darshana alabdha bhumika anavasthitatva. Because of these 5 failures are born in the personality of a person. And this is very clearly seen. So, they are vikshepasa bhuvaha, vikshipta chittasya ete bhavanti. So those who are having a disturbed mind, in them these 5 things are very commonly seen. And therefore, samahichat chittasya ete na bhavanti. Therefore, a person who is with undisturbed mind, naturally in him, you will not find an undisturbed person is lonely and frustrated. See, if you go to the Western world, they are not disturbed by anybody from outside. Because the rules and regulations are such that you can be immediately sued if you do something wrong. So outside there are no disturbance. But what rules and regulation will you apply, enforce for your own disturbances from within? So there is durmanasya, there is a frustration, I expected this thing but it never happened. And then there is dukkham, there is no cheer and happiness on the face, all frustrated, dejected. So these are all when our mind is disturbed. In this manner, samahita chittasya etena bhavanti. So ete vikshepasah bhuvaha samahita chittasya na bhavanti. They do not happen to the yogi who is calm and quiet. Therefore, atha ete vikshepaha samadhi pratipakshaha tabhyam eva abhyasa vairagyabhyam nirodhavya tatra abhyasa vishayasam upasahar idam aha. Now here Bhagavan Vedavyasa says, introduction to the 32nd sutra, that all these virodhi, see, virodhi is vipaksha, what is called as samadhi pratipakshaha. Pratipaksha is virodhi, the opposition party. So in our heart, in our antakaran, the government is going on. One is the ruling and second is the unruled. So the ruling government try to rule, but the unruled create disturbance. So in the same manner, ete pratipakshaha, all these things. Now after having told what is to be done, they are also to be controlled. By what? Tabhyam eva abhyasa vairagyabhyam. Because they are also vrittis. Because all these obstacles are nothing but the thoughts and thoughts alone. Therefore, these are also to be controlled by abhyasa and the vairagya. So, here Bhagavan Vedavyasa has given a very long commentary. Vikshepa pratishedhartam eka tattvaavalambanam chittam abhyaset. Now abhyasa. The 32nd sutra we haven't read. Please read. tat pratishedhartham ekatatvabhyasaha. Tat pratishedhartham, for the removal of all these obstacles, ekatattva abhyasaha, one should do the abhyas of one tattva. Now, one should do the abhyas, there is no contradiction on this. The problem begins on ekatattva abhyasa. Now, what is that ekatattva? This is the topic taken here for discussion, and the various philosophies are brought in. Vikshepa pratishedhartam ekatattvaavalambanam chittam abhyaset. Yastu pratyartha niyatam pratyaya matram kshanikam cha chittam tasya sarvameva chittam ekagram nasti eva vikshiptam. Now here the approach of the Buddhist is told. They say, chitta is always ekagra, you don't have to do anything. How beautiful it is. When you are looking at the pencil, so the chitta is ekagra. After some time you throw the pencil, you look at the book. So you are looking at the book, chitta is ekagra. So our chitta is normally ekagra, you don't have to do anything. So chitta ekagram nasti eva vikshiptam. Yadi punaha idam sarvatah pratyahruta ekasmin arthi samadhiyate tada bhavati ekagram iti ataha na pratyartham or pratyarthaniyatam. Therefore, here a lot of discussions are taken, and all that ultimately means only this, that ekatattva abhyasa. Ekatattva abhyasa means what? The mind which is jumping from one topic to another topic, to remove that constantly running here and there, the ekatattva is what? Now on this ekatattva, many commentators, yogis have different opinions. And all of them are right from their point of view. From our point of view, we hold on to our Bhagwan Raman Maharshi. Pranabandhanat liyate manaha ekachintanat nashametyadaha. So, here we are not trying to do the chitta vritti nirodha. We are trying to destroy the mind. Nashametyadaha. Because what is the chitta? When there is a sense of otherness, vritti. Vrittis create the sense of otherness. So when our mind is free from the sense of otherness in the knowledge, then it is called as the chit, the pure consciousness. And this is possible only when we are able to contemplate on the one. Now here we are told one of the tattvas you contemplate, and this is how the whole topic will go. So, tat pratishedhartham ekatatvabhyasaha. So, one should try to control the mind by focusing this on one tattva. Now, by this, the vikshepas and the sahabhuvas will be controlled. So, abhyasa vairagyabhyam tad nirodha. Now, how do we start it? Yataha chittasya avastitasya idam shastrena parikarmam nirdishyate tat katham. After having told that by practicing abhyasa and the vairagya, one should control even these chitta vrittis which are vikshepa and the sahabhuvaha, which are the disturbances and the reactions of the disturbances in the mind. So all these are to be controlled by vairagya and dispassion and abhyasa and practice. Now, this is one aspect, but this is not all. We have to also purify the mind. So there are two things. One is quietening the disturbances of the mind, and second is the purification of the mind. Because unless the mind is pure, the disturbances will start coming again and again. If I have to give an example, it will be something like that. You have kept your clothes after washing, you put them, somewhere cramped, and then they are cleaned and then you put on, but they are not properly done, ironed, therefore all those wrinkles will remain, and we are only thinking, see, I don't put on, dirty clothes, I wash them. That is very good. But even the wrinkles have to be removed if you feel like putting on good clothes. In the same manner, here, if we say that my mind is controlled, but is it pure? If it is not pure, then what is the use of the controlled mind? Therefore, controlled impure mind creates terrorist. When the mind is not pure, but it is controlled, so it will go and create disturbances in this world. Power without wisdom becomes a source of calamity. And therefore, this chitta-vritti nirodha, this power that we will develop, and along with that, if wisdom is not developed, then such a mind becomes a torture to the person as well as to others. And therefore, parikarma nirdishyate. Parikarma is purification. How do we do that? Now this is another topic, begins from the 33rd Sutra. Maitri Karuna, Maitri Karuna, Muditopekshanam, Sukha Dukkha, Punya Punya Vishayanam, Bhavanataha, Chitta Prasadanam. These are the 4 methods. There are many more. We will come one by one. Now in this sutra there are 4 methods by which our mind becomes pure. So here onward the process of purification of the mind begins. Now first technique is this. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita and Upeksha, 4 things. Tatra sarva pranishu sukha sambhoga sampanneshu maitrim bhavayet. So if you want to keep your mind prasanna, chittasya prasadanam, if you want your mind to be always cheerful and happy, be in the company of the happy people. See? Don't all the time go and with the disgusted, frustrated people and then try to help them. They will destroy you. Forget about the people. The first is Tatra sarva pranishu sukha sambhoga apanneshu maitrim samabhavayet. We should be friendly with all those who are cheerful, happy. Very important. Remember once I told you, there is one girl, now she is a mother. She had this funny notion. During our formative age, we have all funny notions. And then we suffer because of that. So she had this funny notion. Funny notion was that I want to get myself trained for teaching the spastic children, so I can serve them, I can do service to the society. So she came, Swamiji, I am thinking of this, please bless me. I said, I will not bless, you are not going to do that. Then I said, you go study, you have got all faculties, and if you want to, you go and work with the children who are healthy, more important. The problems in this world are not because of the unhealthy people. The problems in this world because of the healthy people. So health has to be supported with wisdom. See? Can you imagine that a terrorist is with a thick glass and then his glass has fallen and then he says to the other, hey, where is my banduk? No. They are perfectly healthy. But what is the problem with them? Their wisdom is perverted. And therefore, it is no good wasting our time and energy into the wrong channels. Please remember, we are in this world to grow spiritually. This kind of, compassion for the people, helping others and all the time working with them, it is not going to help you at all. Therefore, first is Maitri. Be always in the happy and good company. Second, Dukkhiteshu Karunam. And those who are miserable, with them, here I very much disagree. Karuna is compassion. We should not be compassionate to the miserable. Then you serve and get out of it. You know what is compassion? Compassion is, oh, poor little thing. Why God has created such miseries in this world? By this you are destroying your mind. See? When you see somebody miserable, dukkhi person, go and serve him, help him. Help him what? What will be the help for a miserable person? To make him more miserable. Or to bring him out of the misery. And if you have to bring him out of the misery, go and serve to your best ability. But you don't become miserable. That is the main basic principle. Therefore, the other day I told you, those who become miserable because of anybody in this world, they are fools of the highest order. Refuse to be miserable because of anybody or anything. Don't justify, because she said like this, under that condition anybody will become miserable and that anybody is me. Don't. So, Maitri, Sarva Pranishu Sukha Sambhoga, Panneshu Maitri Bhavain, Dukkhiteshu Karunam. Those who are miserable, yes, you serve them whatever it is and get out of it. Then, Punyatmakeshu Muditam. And be extremely happy if you are in the company of the saints and sages. So, Mudita, the inner joy. Inner joy comes only when you refuse to be jealous. And therefore, one should not have the irsha, jealousy. And apunyashileshu upeksham. And in this world there are many criminals. Now you are not here to give lesson to all the criminals in this world. You are not here. You are here to improve yourself and get out of this world. Then how do you do? Upeksha. Like many times some people ask, Swamiji, what is your opinion about the Indian politics? I said it's a big fun and drama going on, very good. But don't you feel this and that thing? I said my feeling has no meaning. So why should I waste my time and energy? But is it not our responsibility? I said you be responsible, I continue to be irresponsible. Be very clear. Do not allow any disturbance and the cause of disturbance to enter your mind and thereby you justify. No. Then you are a spiritual seeker, not otherwise. Therefore, punyatmakeshu muditam, apunyashileshu upeksham. Now, read the other way around. If you are maitra to dukkhiteshu, so what will happen after some time? Like, those who are the psychiatrists, what happens? By the end of their profession, they end up into a similar kind of, environment. One day, our Dr. Vajay here, I was talking to him. I said, Doctor, you are the most intelligent man. He said, how come? I said, do you know that, he is a very nice person. So I told him, I said, do you know, oncologists, experts in cancer, they die of cancer. Heart specialists, they die of heart attack. Psychiatrists, they become mad. But you are the most intelligent one. Why? He is a gynecologist. So being a gynecologist and being a man, you will never be inflicted by that problem. Isn't it? So we should not get into wrong company. Don't be too much involved with the miserable people. Apunyashileshu, no. Keep away. upeksha. Then second is dukkhiteshu karunam. So when somebody is miserable, don't increase his misery by telling, really I feel so bad, No. Remove him from that condition by yourself not becoming miserable. And their third is punyatmakeshu muditam. Mudita is the inner happiness you discover when you are in the company of the saints and sages. And in this manner, ultimately, when this is practiced, then what happens? Evam asya bhavayataha shuklo dharmaha upajayate. Shuklaji comes. See? Shuklo dharmaha upajayate means our heart becomes sattva guna pradhan. Shukla is white. Shukla paksha, Krishna paksha. So sattva guna pradhan. And tataha chittam prasidati. Now see. So now you will come to understand my constant banging. Be happy. This is how ultimately see. Tataha chittam prasidati and prasannam ekagram sthitim padam lavate. And unless we are cheerful, happy, we cannot think of anything higher in this world. Therefore, all what we have studied up to this 33rd verse, Sutra, I have been telling you with one Sutra, be happy. Everything is included in that. But then instead of that we justify, but under this you are okay, you are a sannyasi, but we are grahastha. Therefore, sit with the harmonium and the tabla and become miserable. Don't justify, that's important. Because if we really want to walk the spiritual path, this is the first requirement. So, tataha chittam prasidati and prasannam ekagram sthiti padam labate. And then only, when ekagra chitta has taken place, then only sampradnyat samadhi. Then only after that, asampradnyat samadhi is possible, not before that. And therefore, these are the 4 attitudes which will bring your mind to a normal condition. These are only attitudes, nothing else. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in Gita, Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayanindraishcharan atmavashyar vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati prasanna chetaso jhashu buddhi parjavadhishthate. See? Unless we are prasanna chetas, we will never think about the Lord. If we are disgusted, we will be thinking about disgust only. But why of all the people I was, cheated? You are easily available. Whom do you cheat? Who gets cheated? See? Therefore, don't ever justify that you are miserable and therefore you want to be miserable. No. Refuse very firmly. Then you are spiritual seeker. Miserable people are not spiritual seekers. They are the seekers of the relativity. See? After having said these 4 of them, by which we can attain chitta prasadanam, then the next one, by which we attain again the prasannata, the cheerfulness of the mind. What is that? Prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. Prachardana vidharanabhyam. By this pranayam also the chitta becomes prasanna. Now I don't know, you must have tried it now a number of times. Even if you are disturbed for any reason, sit wherever you are and just do this pranayama what we have told you. Here it is said 3 types of the pranayama, the Rechaka, Puraka and Kumbhaka. By this what happens? That disturbances are in the mind on account of identification with the body. When the mind is not identified with the body, as in deep sleep, mind is not disturbed. So what a pranayam does is weakens the identification of the mind with the body. And this is what is done also by the drugs and drinks. Therefore, this is a very potent method. So, कोष्ठस्य वायोः नासिकापुटाभ्याम प्रयत्न विशेषाद वमनम प्रच्छर्दनम. When you are breathing out in a calculated manner, and because of this calculated manner, many yogis, talk about pranayam with reference to counting. That I have done for many years. But now I have come to another step where I have found by that we are creating the mind. See? When you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold inside 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Isn't it? And what is happening is you are creating the mind. And what is our approach? Chitta vritti nirodha. This I had discovered one day. Because when I was doing, I was balancing the, breathing in and breathing out time. So earlier it used to happen hardly for maybe 10 times, 10 counts. So you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then leave in 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then slowly you have to increase. So I started increasing. And it went up to 40. So I could count 40 while breathing in. And then while breathing out, count 40. But sometime it used to become 30, sometime it used to become 35 and all that. And then the whole mind used to get agitated. How come I am not, like that. And I say, hey, what is funny? Drop all that. And therefore, only now, by the rhythm you understand whether it is perfect or not. See, when the South Indians, when they sing, they go on beating their thing, like this. Chapati, dosha, chapati, dosha. So there is nothing but counting. But those who are already established in that, then they will not go on counting one like this and then do like that. Then, the great singers, the moment they start, everything falls in the right place. So therefore the idea is, when you pranayam, you practice, koshtasya vayoho nasika putabhyam prayatna visheshad vamanam prachardanam. When you breathe out in a calculated manner, it's called as prachardanam. Vidharanam pranayamaha. And thereafter you hold the pranas when you breathe in. So puraka and kumbhaka together is called as vidharanam. So prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. So what happens? Tada chitta prasannam bhavati. So tatascha chittam prasidati. That tatascha chittam prasidati or chitta prasadanam from the last sutra has to be added to this sutra. So prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. By that also our prana becomes quiet. Therefore, this is how the mind can be made cheerful and happy by the yoga abhyas. Now continuing further. So there are few more of them. We have seen 4 in the 33rd, 5th in this 34th, and some more are in the 35. Vishayavati va pravrtti utpanna manasaha sthiti nibandhini. Vishayavati pravritti utpanna manasaha sthiti nibandhini. The mind is able to attain the single pointedness, ekagrata, prasannata, etc. when we are able to create Vishayavati pravrutti. Now here the meaning of the word pravrutti is not involvement. Prakarshena vritti. Prakarshena vritti means what? We come to the point of tanmatra. This is called as the prakarsha vritti. Now here Bhagavan Vedavyas writes, Nasikagre dharayataha asya ya divya gandha samvit sa gandha pravrittihi. Here Bhagavan Vyasa's commentary is very, very good. We'll go there. Nasikagre dharayataha asya ya divya gandha samvit sa gandha pravrittihi. So when the seeker has attained ekagrata or the chittan to a great extent, but it is not perfected, now this is the training given to the chitta for attaining perfect ekagrata or single pointedness. So now the dharana is done, nasikagra. So the whole mind and attention is brought at the tip of the nose for a long period of time. As a result, what happens? The gandha samvit is manifested. One day we are sitting in some restaurant, somewhere I don't remember, long time back. That time I was only very, very young. So one elderly man came and he said to that shop owner, give me something to eat. He said, do you have money? He said, I have got much more than money. What do you think? He said, what is that you have got? Show me. He said, okay. And he stood in front of him, the counter. He was a very simple looking man, average, unassuming personality. And he just closed his eyes. And in 2-3 minutes, the whole atmosphere had a great fragrance. Then he said, do you feel the difference now? See, come nearer to me, and then he did. See what gandha you are getting. Do you want to see some more? No, Maharaj, please sit down. And namaskar, chamatkar, giving food and all that. So, when one is practicing this chitta ekagrata on the nasikagra, gandha samvit means what? Be very attentive. Gandha samvit means you reach the gandha tanmatra. Now try to understand the 25 tattvas. First is avyakta, then is the mahat tattva buddhi, third is asmita or the ahankar, and from the ahankar or asmita, the 11 jnanendriyas come out, and from this mahat tattva, the second thing comes out is the 5 tanmatras. So when the seeker is able to go beyond the gross objects and reach the tanmatra, his sense organs are made out of the tanmatras. And the tanmatra is in that particular Pancha Mahabhut called as the, here in this case, the Prithvi. So the Pancha Tanmatra of the Prithvi called as the Gandha, and that Gandha from which the nose, the Granendriya is made, when they unite together, the Divya Gandha takes place. And this is what happens. It is not to be imagined. So this is called as Divya Gandhanubhuti Gandha Pravrutti. So here, Dharana itself is called as the Chitta Ekagrata. So Nasikagre Dharayataha. And then the subsequent Jivhagre Rasa Samvit, then Taluni Rupa Samvit, then Jivha Madhya Sparsha Samvit, and Jivha Mule Shabda Samvit. So see, within the mouth all the jnanendriyas are contained. At the base of the tongue, where from the tongue comes, if you sit quiet and focus your attention 100% at the base of the tongue, wrong period of time regularly, you will develop the Shabda Samvit. Therefore, in one place Swami Vivekananda says that those who are practicing yoga-abhyas and those who are leading a spiritual life, slowly their sound starts becoming extremely melodious and it can captivate the listeners. That happens when the attention is on the jivha mula, shabda. Then the jivha madhya, the center of the tongue. When there the dharana is done, then the sparsha sammit takes place. Sparsha sammit is the sparsha tanmatra, vayu tattva is one. Then you come to the jivhagra. Before jivhagra, the upper one, the talu. When you do the dharana at the taluni, then there the rupa tanmatra takes place. And the jivhagra, the rasa tanmatra, and the nasikagra, the gandha tanmatra. In this manner, this fayu pravrtti, pravritti means prakarshena vritti. See, like fragrance of, let us take a jasmine, then fragrance of lotus, then fragrance of a rose. So this is fragrance of something. But Gandha Samvit means fragrance itself. So Samvit is the pure form of these Panchatanmatras. So this is what happens. Now, tad vishayayam vasikara sajnayam upajayatayam tasya arthasya pratyakshikaranaya samartham syat. And when we have thus discovered this samvit for that particular object, then we call it as one is able to go into the depth of the total Gandha. So the one who has come to the Gandha samvit, he has conquered all the smells of the world. In the life of one Mahatma, I was reading, he is a born Siddha. Like in a Bhava Pratyayanam, Asampradnya Samadhi, that one. So, when he was a child, in his life story it is written that he hardly used to eat. So his mother will tell him, why don't you eat? He said, no, I haven't eaten. I have gone to our neighbor, I ate there. Straight away lie. No, if you have eaten, show me your hand. Does it smell? So he says, see, just now I have taken sambar. And that mother will smell, sambar is there. Yes, you have taken food. Because the one who is one with the Gandha Tanmatra, he has conquered all the smells of the world. Now for us, if there is a sardi, you cannot have any smell. But here is this is what it is said, Pratyakshikaranaya samartham syat. And therefore, one is able to attain this Vashikara Sajnya, this is the Vairagya, and from that Sampradnyata Yoga takes place, and as a result, the Viveka Khyati, and from the Viveka Khyati, one gets the Sampradnyata Yoga, and in this manner, Tatha cha sati iti Vashikara Sajnyatam Vairagyam cha sati ityartha. And thereafter, Shraddha Vira Smriti Samadhayaha, and thereafter, one is able to attain the Asampradnya Samadhi through Shraddha Virya Smriti Samadhayaha. In this manner, one is able to attain the Chitta Ekagrata through these pravrutti. So here pravrutti is not involvement, the pravrutti is going to the causative level. So Vishayavati va pravrutti utpanna manasa sthiti nibandhani, mind gets rooted, tied down. Now there are few more methods of controlling the mind. This is said in the 36th Sutra. Vishoka va jyotishmati Now this pravrutti, Vishoka, Jyotishpati, these two of them, they also are able to make the mind single pointed, undisturbed. And by that prasannata will come. And from this prasannata, one is able to have the asampradnyat samadhi yoga too. Now, pravrutti utpanna manasa sthiti nibandhani iti anuvartate. So, from the last sutra, one has to continue that verb in the present sutra also. What was the sutra? Vishayavati va pravrutti utpanna manasa sthiti nibandhani vishoka va jyotishmati manasa sthiti nibandhani. This is the technique of the sutras, where minimum words are used. Therefore, this manasa sthiti nibandhani, this thought is carried in the 36th sutra. When we study the Narad Bhakti Sutra, there also we will see this technique. That is why sutras require extreme attention and a proper training for study of the sutras. Otherwise, if you take them separate from each other, you can never understand. Sutra means a continuous one. Flowers are separate, the sutra, the thought or the thread is continuous. So here the continuous thought process going on. Now, pravrutti utpanna manasa sthiti nibandhani iti anuvartate. Hrudaya pundarike dharayataha ya buddhi samvid buddhi tattvam sa hi bhasvaram akashakalpam tatra sthiti vaisharadyat pravrutti surya indu grahana mani prabha rupa karena vikalpate. See now what is happening. Be very attentive. Complete thought should be your own understanding. For controlling the mind, what we have done first, we have done the pravrutti in the pancha tanmatras, isn't it? In the last one, Vishayavati va pravrutti, manasa sthiti nibandhani. So, 5 tanmatras are done. Now, what are the next one? Next one is the buddhi tattva. And then come the asmita tattva. Where is the buddhi tattva? Buddhi tattva is in our heart. And therefore, it is said, Hrudaya pundarike dharayataha. Now, when the seeker is doing the dharana, he is focusing his mind on the buddhi tattva. And as a result, buddhi samvit becomes manifest. Like buddhi samvit, what will be buddhi samvit now? Pure knowledge, not knowledge of. Like Gandha samvit is what I told you. It is not the smell of something, but the fragrance itself. Rasa samvit means not the taste of the mango or the taste of the chikki. No. The taste proper. That is the samvit. Similarly, buddhi samvit will be what? The pure knowledge and not the knowledge of this or of that. So that buddhi samvit, when it becomes awakened, such a person is able to know everything instantaneously the moment he focuses at anything. And such yogis have discovered the great secrets of the nature. Otherwise, if you see in Ayurveda Shastra, they tell so many things which you just can't understand where from they are known. It is not by conducting experiments in the outer laboratories. It is only by developing the Gandha Buddhi Samvit, they look at a particular object or a vanaspati and they know what are the things this plant can be useful for. They don't have to struggle. Same thing happens when the Buddhi Samvit is there. With that Buddhi Samvit, when the yogis can contemplate, look upon the sun, the moon, the stars, they know everything about that. So what is the movement of the earth around the sun, how many days time it takes, everything is known only by the awakening of the Buddhi Samvit. And what is this Buddhi Samvit? How it is? Bhasvara Akasha Kalpam. This Buddhi Samvit is all light. It is not the reflected light, but it is the original light kind of thing. And therefore it is undifferentiated light. So Bhasvaram Akasha Kalpam, and it is without any particular form. The light that we see is only the reflected light. See? You are seeing me only because the light is reflected on my face and my clothes. So what you are seeing me is only the reflected light. In between you and me there is a light, but that light we cannot see. Our eyes can see only the reflected light. In the same manner, the buddhi can see only the objective objects, but the buddhi sammit, the pure knowledge, where the vritti, the thought has not yet created any contamination, reaches the substratum of the pure consciousness where all knowledge is contained. So this is buddhi sattvam bhaswaram akashakalpam. Tatra sthiti vaisharadyat pravrittihi surya indu grahana mani prabha rupakarena vikalpate. And in this manner, when you are practicing that, the buddhi sammit is over, then there the buddhi tattva becomes extremely clear. Vaisharadyat, that means Vaisharadya is immaculate, absolutely pure. And because of the complete pureness, like a bright shining object, it is ekagra. And when the chitta has become ekagra, because of this purity of the chitta, this is called as the buddhi samvit, and this buddhi sakshatkara rupini pravritti. And this is experienced by the yogi in the form of Surya Indu Mani Grahana Prabha Rupakarena, as if he is seeing the brightness of the sun, as if he is seeing the coolness of the moon. If you remember in Bhagavad Gita, we will see in the 11th chapter, Sanjay tells Dhritarashtra that when I am seeing that Vishwarupa Darshan, it is something like if simultaneously in the sky thousands and thousands of sun were to rise simultaneously, what will be the light, that brightness I am seeing when I see this Vishwarupa. So this is nothing but in that Vishwarupa, the buddhi sammit is awakened. And tatha asmitayam samapannam chittam. So we are going step by step. First of all, we have come from the outer world, Maitri, Karuna, etc. Then we have come to the Panchatanmatra, then the Buddhi Tanmatra, and then we will come to the Asmita. And in this manner, the thought will continue. We will take it in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.